So listen, right now, if you own a small business, you might be spending 30 to 50% of your time on repeatable manual tasks that don't really require you to use your brain. I'm talking about tasks like scheduling appointments, follow-up emails, updating spreadsheets, posting to social media. All of those things can be automated. So I built this scorecard to show you exactly how much time you might be losing and how much it might be costing you. In this video, we're going to do a live demo of my Time Rich Founder Scorecard. And by the end of this video, you'll get a better understanding of how much time and money you may be losing in your business and how to get it all back. Let's check it out. So as a business owner, we can often lose track of how our day-to-day goes because we're focused on the next client, how much money we're making, and not how much time we're spending on doing all the things in our business, which means we lose track of what an hourly rate is. And you may not be getting paid by the hour, but time still moves by the hour. So you should be aware of what you're using those hours on. And a lot of those things are low leverage tasks that you should be automating or delegating. So I did some research. I hopped into Perplexity and I was like, how much time are people actually losing in their business? One, I'm having these conversations with people and they're losing a lot of time. I used to spend a lot of time doing admin stuff in my business. I felt like I was the only person who could do it. Then ChatGPT arrived, helped me out. And then I was able to not only get AI to do it, but build out some training guides. And I put that logic to work to build this scorecard. But let's go back to check out, see what Perplexity has to say about this. So Perplexity says that small business owners typically spend 15 to 16 hours per week on admin or repetitive tasks. That's about 2 full work days each week consumed by non-strategic activities. That's not the space that we want to be in. Okay. I love strategy, but you do have to handle these admin things or your business doesn't work smooth. The good thing for us, we don't have to spend all our time on those admin things. So 15 to 16 hours a week, that's about 2 full business days. That's not where you want to be. You don't want to lose multiple days a week doing admin work. Okay. You want to be strategizing. You want to be doing client fulfillment, or maybe you want to be kicking it with your friends, spending time with your family and your loved ones. That's what it's all about, right? Building your dream life. So in order to do that, you got to account for how you're using your time. And that's what the Time Rich Founder Scorecard is about. So let's hop over and check it out. So boom, here it is. The Time Rich Founder Scorecard. Time Rich is not a new concept, but it is a term or phrase that worked very well for what I was thinking, right? Being a time rich founder. You want to have enough time to do all the things that matter to you for your life and in your business. So I put together this scorecard. Now, before we start, I just want to say a few episodes or a few videos ago on this channel, I did a live demonstration of me building this out. So you can see the progress that I've been making using these AI tools for myself. This is practice for me, but I also use these for my clients. And if you want to work with me on helping you build something like this, if it's the right thing, then you can click a link in the description and we can put together a strategy call. Now, so with the Time Rich Founder Scorecard, I was inspired by Score app by Daniel Priestley and his team. Score app is a great tool to assess where people are in their business or just any kind of assessment for a wait list, all of those things. But I wanted to have it within my product ecosystem, have all my own branding, and I just did it all on my own because I'm already spending money for Lovable and I have an understanding of how to do this. So you can go back and check that video out. You can see how I got to building this thing out, and I made all the adjustments, and now we have a live scorecard here. So let's get into the scorecard. This is the landing page. All of this is built in Lovable, from the landing page to the quiz to the results, and we're going to go through each section one by one. So here is the landing page. You land on the landing page. If you want to get your Time Rich Founder score, you can click the first link in the description. So landing page is telling you what the benefits are. The 3 biggest benefits is that you identify where the pain points are. You find out how much it's actually costing you. And then third is you get some recommendations on how you can make that improvement and start scaling on top of those things. Here's my background. Here's my story on some of the things that I did that inspired me to work towards becoming a Time Rich founder. And again, there's another CTA button. Let's click that and let's get started. So boom, we go right in. It's 15 questions. It only takes about 3 minutes. It's going to take us a little bit longer because I'm going to explain some of these questions as we move through. Now, question 1, how often do you check your work emails? Let me throw on my glasses because it's getting a little blurry on me. How often do you check your work emails or messages after 6 p.m.? Now, let's just keep it real. When you die hard and you in the groove, you in your business and you love it to death, or you don't have anybody else to do this, you take all these calls, right? But you need to be mindful of how much time you're spending because you only have a certain like mental capacity throughout the day. And that's not much longer after 6 p.m., depending on what time you wake up, right? So I put 6 p.m. is on average because that's typically after most people's work day, right? And we're just going to click through and see what kind of results we get. So I put often. Next question. What happens to your business when you take a day off? I have a true horror story about this. When I opened my juice bar back in 2020, I opened in September. I was already doing the juice business prior to that, but I first opened my doors to my first brick and mortar shop September. and October. I went on a trip to Phoenix for my birthday, and I did not want to go. I was so nervous about going. It was my first time letting the team take over, and I know I was only 1 month in. I don't really have a bunch of defined systems on what they can do, and it was only for 2 days. One day we would be closed, so they would be running the shop for Friday and Saturday. And I did not leave everything to check by the end of the day. I get back and there's a huge spill. There's like liquid and juice all over the floor in the back of the shop. And what happened was one of the freezers got unplugged. I don't know what happened. I imagine somebody bumped it and then knocked the cord out or whatever the case may be. But you should check through all of those things by the end of the day, just checking the temperatures on the refrigerators and all those things. And you would have noticed that the temperature is too low. So I got fruit that I lost that thawed out and defrosted. We lost a lot of our dragon fruit, and dragon fruit stains, like the big pink dragon fruit cubes, is all over the floor, all over the bottom of the freezer. Juices, we losing shelf life on juice because now they got too hot to really offer again and put back on the shelf. So it was a mess. So understanding what happens on your day off, or that feeling you get on your day off where you just cannot leave your business. I totally had that feeling, and I accounted for that and put that in this scorecard here. So do things run smoothly? I got to the point where things slowed down for my business once I started to get better, and I could take some breaks. I can leave the systems in place, and the speed may slow down because I'm not there to stay on people or to help it along, but people still get things done better at a higher level. So that's just something to think about. What happens when you take a day off? Next question. We got to do it. Oh, if you don't answer it, it's going to let you know. Please select the answer. How do new customers typically reach you and get started? They can get started immediately through automated systems. It's a simple process, but I need to be involved. Everything goes through me personally. It's different every time. These last two are a big issue within a lot of service-based businesses. Everything either goes through the sole proprietor, the person who runs a service-based business, whether it's a home services business, sometimes for professional services, but this can be automated easily, whether it be through a voice automation, like a voice bot, or there's that. Whether it be through a voice agent or a chat bot on your website, you should be able to automate this so that customers can get the information that they need and reach you at a right time. Next question. How long does it take to get a new customer fully onboarded? Onboarding process is a big deal. You want to be able to make it smooth. It may not be fast, but you definitely want it to be smooth. But the smoother it is, the faster it is, right? Slow is, I forget the saying. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. I believe that's how the saying goes. And that's what you want your onboarding process to be like. And the more you can automate your onboarding process, the easier it is for you and for your customers. And if you have clients that are paying a lot of money, they really want a smooth onboarding process, or they're going to feel like they're not in good hands. Let's answer this question. How do you handle your routine customer questions? If you don't have FAQs on your page, on your website, you need to just have those on your website. That might handle a lot of what you have going on. But if the questions get deeper, again, having a voice agent, having a chat bot on your website can handle a lot of those things, or having some kind of knowledge base available for people to get to that can be automated. You could educate them through email sequences about what kind of service they're going to be getting, how the timing is going to go, the whole process, right? You could automate a lot of these things. So I personally answer most of these questions because this is how it is for a lot of service-based businesses. When do you typically get paid after completing your work? This is where you want to be able to automate payment processes. So now all the money is moving around digitally on our phone. So you would think it would be easy, but a lot of people make it complicated because they don't have easy payment portals. They don't have easy Stripe links. You can actually set up invoicing through a lot of business banking accounts. Like if you have Chase, you can set up an invoice. You can take payments there. You can do professional like Zelle to a professional business account. And you want to be able to track all of these things, and you can automate a lot of this. That's not financial advice. I'm not saying to use Zelle. I'm just saying that there are a lot of ways that you can process payments a lot faster. Another thing, I am aware of net 30, net 45, net 60 payments, right? But what you can automate in that process are reminders as your deadlines get closer. And then if you pass the deadline, and then if you feel totally uncomfortable making those phone calls, having those conversations about getting paid, you automate these payments, and you automate this communication process and make sure that you get paid. I want to see you get paid, homie. Let's get paid. How much time do you spend on administrative tasks weekly? Now, administrative tasks look different for all businesses. So I thought it'd be better to focus on just the amount of time. You should know administrative tasks are pretty much everything that's not fulfillment or marketing that make the company go. Okay. So I went through, showed you what Perplexity told us, 15 to 16 hours, most people around that. So we can say 10 to 20 hours a week, which is significant. How predictable is your monthly revenue? This is where this helps you understand better your processes. Because if you have an automated process for getting revenue in, and then processes to make that revenue, go and move, basically process the revenue. You want to have all those types of automation set up in your business. So this question here is really just turning a mirror on you to really reflect on yourself and how your business is working, and how predictable is your monthly revenue. Mostly predictable, some variation, somewhat unpredictable, feast or famine. And the reason why it could be unpredictable is because you don't have a predictable process, and that process is not automated. If you wanted to double your business, what would happen? I thought about this, and I told you these questions came from Daniel Priestley himself on why he set these things up. So I made it specific to what my area of expertise was, and then added in a few more questions to help anybody who's using this quiz understand how they're using their time. So this is basically a future projection of how you'd be using your time. If you want to make more money, and let's say you want to double the amount of money you make, how does that look for you? Do you have to hire somebody else? Do you have to work twice as hard? Is it even possible? Can you only get it done if the person is you or as good as you? Do you have to clone yourself? So that type of thing. So I'm going to put, gotta clone yourself. So next question, how often do you find yourself doing work that somebody else could do? This is a big thing for a lot of founders, small business owners, and operators, because you're highly internally motivated people. You're just used to figuring things out, and you go and get it done. And you start to assume absorb a lot of tasks, right? And just accept responsibility for getting a lot of things done, not really paying attention to the fact that somebody else or AI could be doing that for you, right? So you need to get that off your plate. And sometimes you may just feel uncomfortable letting somebody else do it, but trust me, it may not be something that you need to focus on or spend your time doing. So sometimes, but I delegate when possible. Often I should delegate more. I constantly do everything by myself. I've been totally guilty of that, so I'm going to click that answer. Which best describes your current situation? This is just to get a feel of what size business the person who is completing this is doing. But this also, again, is turning a mirror back on yourself, because you know what answers you just gave. And you're like, this is the position of a person who is a solo business owner, a person who has a small team. But then you can also look out into the world and see other small teams, other small businesses who have a lot of processes automated, and you can aspire towards that. This is not just, this is what my current situation is. It also lets you know that you can improve that current situation no matter what size your business is. What would business freedom look like for you? Like this is all about time, because most people who start their own business start it because they want to be their own boss. They want to have control of their own time. They want autonomy. They want to be able to determine their outcomes. And that's really what it's about. So what does business freedom look like for you? Is it more time? Is it more money? Is it some combination of the two? But it should be something that can be calculated, because you need to have a goal to move towards. Because if you're being vague, then you don't know what freedom looks like. You don't ever get to that freedom. What's preventing you from achieving this freedom? This could just simply come down to, I don't know where to start with automation. How do you prefer to solve complex business challenges? And this is all about how do you basically get to the level where you're automating things. Once you understand what you can automate, how do you go about solving it? Some people, they need to be shown the exact steps and they can do it themselves. A lot of DIY. They need it done for them. So they need a guide through that. Somebody to do it with me until I'm confident. Again, doing it with them. Handle it for me. I'll pay for the results. That is a lot of businesses, right? If you are an expert, you are a pro. Like I always say, even when I got a limited budget, who's the pro I can pay to get this done? Let the pros do it. For one, they're probably going to do it better than me, even if I can do it. But they're also going to save me a lot of time and I can go do some other stuff with some higher leverage. And lastly, if you could change or automate one thing in your business, what would that be? That is the final question on the Time Rich Founder Scorecard. So I would just say, automating invoices. Last thing, got to put your info in because we need that. And I'll just put in my name. Let's see our time rich results. So I added this window in Lovable. I was like, hey, we need to have some kind of loading thing there. Boom. 45%. That's the score. So your time freedom score is between 80 and 40. So the hard coded in this scorecard is some logic on how much time you might be losing multiplied by whatever your hourly rate is, which varies depending on what your business could be. But my score is 45% for this quiz or for this one. And it is a time poor founder. You are trapped in a business prison of your own making because you won't delegate and you won't automate, right? You're the bottleneck preventing growth, and without changes, you'll burn out while competitors pass you by. I've seen it happen. It happened to me when I was trying to transition from my juice bar into coaching. I wasn't able to manage that very well. I didn't market it well. I didn't automate some of the steps. I was okay with some clients and things like that, but it didn't really go very well because I was the bottleneck in the business. And so when you get to this page, the cool thing about this is that it's going to lay it out for you. So based on the scoring and the logic I just told you about on the back end, is doing the calculation based on the questions and how you answer them. You're possibly losing about 25 hours a week. If your hourly rate is $75, that's about $6,500 a month. You add that up, that's a whole salary. Okay. So you have the opportunity to make some high impact changes. If you systemize some things, you could really turn things up in your business. And so those are some of the tips that you get when you actually get this score in your email as well. And then here's a video of me giving my suggestions and tips based on what your score was. And let's just say you're making more than $75 an hour. Let's just round it out at whatever your service is. It's about $800 a day. That would be $100 an hour. So if you spend 5 hours a day doing some admin tasks that you don't need to do, that's $500 in a day that you've lost or wasted. And nobody wants to be in that space. Okay, so here's some personalized tips that you get based on some of the questions you answered. And then here are some next step options for you to work with me in Green Book Digital. But this I built on my own through Lovable to help out my prospects, my potential clients. I pretty much send everybody through this so I can get a good understanding of where they are and how much time they may be losing in their business, and also get an understanding of what their actual business is. So this is a Time Rich Founder Scorecard. If you want to get your own Time Rich score, you click the first link in the description. You complete this quiz. Be honest, be real with yourself, give it the right answers. It's going to give you back the right score, the right input, and send you on a path to improve yourself, your business, and get time rich. I'm going to check you out in the next video.